What's going on, everybody? C4, welcome back to the channel, and today we're here for a new Madden 23 rebuild where we're going to try to win multiple Super Bowls. Since our starting point is the Super Bowl, I felt it was time to run it back with the Philadelphia Eagles. We've only done one Eagles rebuild so far in Madden 23. It was a realistic rebuild where he ended up drafting Anthony Richardson and replacing Jalen Hurts right away in year one. That was done just because Jalen Hurts wasn't particularly good in this. I think at this point he was like a 74 normal when we started. Now we are taking it live, and this team is absolutely stacked. Jalen Hurts, it's Madden, but just to give you context, if you didn't watch football, you're like, all right, Jalen Hurts, 74. Like, I don't think there's a quarterback. There definitely isn't any quarterback in the NFL. Like, I'm trying to think like what Geno Smith's development would have been that went up as and gained as much as Jalen Hurts. He was not good. He might have had star dev, maybe. But the fact that he is, starting point now at the end of the year, 86 superstar is, I don't know how to say it's ridiculous because he absolutely earned it. I think after Patrick Mahomes, like if you're ranking the quarterbacks this year, I firmly think you have Mahomes at 1. You have a little bit of a drop down. Jalen Hurts at 2, and I think there's like even more a little bit of drop down, and then you got whatever Joe Burrow at 3. If you're Jalen Hurts, was easily the best quarterback in the NFC conference on the best team, and I think he's gonna get paid. He's gonna get paid, and I'm not gonna go on a rant. I do think there's slight worry to how much of it was Jalen Hurts' development, which absolutely was monumental this offseason. Like one of the maybe not Josh Allen-esque in terms of where they were to where they got to, but pretty damn close. But there is still a little bit of like, how much are we going to pay Jalen Hurts? Like, and how much is it the fact that we have A.J. freaking Brown on the offensive side of the ball? Like, there's always a little bit of give and take that's going to come into, how did Jalen Hurts become this good? Is it 100% Jalen Hurts? Is it 60% Jalen Hurts, 40% A.J. Brown? You know what I'm saying? Something like that. And it's not that that's his fault, because plenty of quarterbacks in the league probably look a lot better. Like, I'm going to say Joe Burrow probably looks better than what he is because he has the Pro Bowl at wide receiver. And that's not a knock at Joe Burrow. I think Joe Burrow's still an amazing quarterback. But the reason why he looks elite, it might have something to do with the skill position players around him. Same with Jalen Hurts. Same with, Travis Kelce and Patrick. You know what I'm saying? So, like, even good to great quarterbacks need skill position guys around them to really be elite. They need help. They can't do it all themselves. But my question is just, the hypotheticals. Just how much do you pay Jalen Hurts, knowing that we also have a very ridiculous skill group around him? Like, are you gonna want to try to get a little bit of a discount, or are you gonna just straight up reset the market? It's gonna be interesting to see, but I think he's absolutely earned it. Looking at the rest of the team, we got Miles Sanders, superstar. He's probably this playoff game might be his last hurrah here. I don't know if we're gonna have the finances to re-sign a Miles Sanders. AJ Brown's X Factor, Devontae Smith, superstar. We got Goddard. We got Lane, Sayamalu, Kelce, Dickerson, my lot of the best offensive line of a generation, honestly. Outstanding offensive line. You flip to the defense, superstar Brandon Graham, superstar Hassan Reddick, superstar Javon Hargrave, superstar Fletcher Cox, superstar Josh Sweat, and surprise, surprise, Jordan Davis' depth trade is superstar. Has there ever been a freakier defensive line in Madden? Don't think so. You got Slay, 94 X Factor, James Bradbury, 86 superstar. You have Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, 86 superstar, had 6 interceptions on the year. You even throw in somehow Epps got a star dev, even though we're likely going to go Reed Blankenship for the remainder of this rebuild at the spot, just because, again, you're kind of looking at these spots as who you got to let walk, who you got to pay. Both of TJ Edwards and Kaiser White are set to be free agents. I think both Fletcher Cox and Javon Hargrave are set to be free agents, as well as James Bradbury. I almost feel like we're going to have, some very tough decisions to make after this big game. But hopefully we can start this rebuild with a Super Bowl, and then the rest is kind of cake. We will go a full 5. This doesn't even count as year 1. But we got to play the Kelce Bowl here. The 14-3 Kansas City Chiefs, 14-3 Philadelphia Eagles. It's going to be a good game. I mean, I'm probably going to try to get a video up on the second channel tonight or tomorrow, kind of giving my thoughts about this game, but it's going to be a good game. I'm not overly confident. I feel like I'm 60-40 Eagles are going to win as an Eagle fan. I think if I was taking a step back and just as a non-bias, where am I going? Knowing how I bet, I'd probably bet the Chiefs. In very close matchups, I usually go with the more proven quarterback, and that is Patrick Mahomes. But I think the little bit of a tiebreaker is that the Eagles defense is, I'm worried about the Eagles defense in a sense because we have let good quarterbacks just roast us. But if the defense shows up, our defense is a big-time advantage. Or at least our defense can be a big-time advantage over the Kansas City Chiefs defense in this matchup. But it's going to be an awesome game. I can't wait for it. Let's see how it kind of plays out in here, Madden. We've done a little bit of Sims already. It's almost always been Kansas City. But hopefully we get a good roll here. We start this rebuild with a Super Bowl, and then it's all about turning this into a dynasty rebuild. But before we get into the Super Bowl, I need to give a quick shout out to today's video sponsor. The big game is finally here. Some people go to big game parties for the chili, others go for the chips and the dip. Only those in the know, however, are there for the real action. Action that can be only found on DraftKings Sportsbook. I'm teaming up with DraftKings to give all new customers a winning offer. All new customers have to do is sign up for DraftKings using my promo code C4. Bet at least $5 on the big game, and you'll instantly receive an additional $200 in bonus bets. Yep, that's right. New customers bet just $5 on the big game, and you'll instantly get $200 in bonus bets deposited in your account. Wondering what you could use $200 in bonus bets on? Try out same game parlays where you can combine multiple bets from one game, like which team will have the most passing yards and who will score the first touchdown of the night for even bigger winnings. If mobile sports betting is not yet available in your state, don't worry, you can still get in on the fun with DraftKings Daily Fantasy. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. New customers use promo code C4. Bet $5 on the big game and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. That's promo code C4 only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Massive shout out for sponsoring today's video. Let's see it, baby. I mean, it's going to be it's the best teams. Unless you're a 49ers player who's just like, I have never seen, like, it always gets like, it's one of those things where, you know, the Eagles Twitter is a little bit of an echo chamber. But like anytime the Niners fan comes out and complains about this game, like on Reddit, there's just like teams of other fans, even Niner fans are like, shut up, just shut up. Like you have literally, that was everybody on the Niners. This looks like an awesome sim already. Almost everyone on the Niners are just I don't know. It's unbelievable. The amount of like, it's Eagles Chiefs, and all I'm seeing are like the Niners talking about their loss and how they got ass kicked. But look at this for the Super Bowl. We are starting the dynasty off right. This could be the final. I'd be, I don't know, 7 paper joint probably is the celebration right here. 38-21 birds. Jalen Hurts, can't believe. I want to see these stat lines. We literally did the best of 7 video idea where I was like, what if the Eagles and Niners played 7 times? And it was 4 uncompetitive blowouts in a row by the Kansas City Chiefs. Like, it was depressed. Like, that's almost a reason why I needed to do this video, was to see, like, can it actually happen? And this is a one-sided ass kicking. This has been, like, if this happens, right? If this happens, you just gotta say, like, statistically speaking, it's like one of the most dominant playoff runs of all time. This wasn't a competitive game against, you know, there's still people say we didn't beat anybody good yet. The Chiefs are overrated. Chiefs, Mahomes is hurt or whatever, but look at that moment. What a stud. This happens, Jalen Hurts, he's gonna be like the inverse of Joe Flacco. Where, like, you know, the Ravens had to pay Joe Flacco and they knew they were going to regret it immediately. If Jalen Hurts throws 3 touchdowns in the Super Bowl, you know, maybe we'll have a little bit of a problem if can we just run the football down their throats? What happened here? 175 yards, Miles Sanders. He's probably every 2 touchdowns, 2 picks, Mahomes. 3 touchdowns, 1 pick, Jalen Hurts. We had 175 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns for Miles Sanders. Literally got nothing going on the run game for the Chiefs. Receiving 88 yards, Kadarius Toney, 100 yards for Kelsey, 90 yards, 2 touchdowns, Dallas Goedert, 83 for Juju, 75 and a tutty for Quez Watkins. I don't know. I'm pretty sure Mecole Hardman's hurt. Defensively, 9 tackles, Kaiser White. We had a sack and a half, Chris Jones. Sack, Hassan Riddick, Josh Sweat, Kaiser White. Interceptions go the way. Nick Bolton had 1, but Kaiser White and a Slay show up with picks. That's exactly how you start this review. We got 5 years of trying to deal with Philly's terrible salary cap situation, all while trying to turn this team with Jalen Hurts, the new and improved Jalen Hurts under center, into an absolute dynasty. I'm sure if you're an Eagle fan, you're rolling your eyes. You're like, why are we doing this video, C4? Let me have this. So we start the offseason out with, not the best news, especially as it relates to Jason Kelce retiring. Many people don't want to see him retire. I think Brandon Graham makes a little bit more sense to Jason Kelce, because Brandon Graham came back off that injury, bad injury, had a career year, go out on top kind of deal. Jason Kelce's been more so healthy, hasn't had the injury that BG had, but both those guys right off the sunset is storybook ending, sure, but does give us a lot to think about as it relates to the squad. Luckily, at center, we have Cam Jurgens, who the Eagles spent a pretty high draft pick on to be the successor for Jason Kelce. And then a defensive end for the scheme, we could just move Hassan Reddick from outside linebacker into Brandon Graham's starting left defensive end spot. We'll also start this by releasing this piece of shit off our team. Good news is we have $124 million to work with. The bad news is we have 17 impending free agents. A lot of them starters on the defensive side of the ball. Okay, first of all, where's Fletcher Cox? I'm pretty sure he's supposed to be a free agent. He's not anywhere. All right, we'll start with James Bradbury, All-Pro, second team All-Pro at corner. Let's get him on a 2-year deal. We'll bump that up a little bit. We'll give him 5.5, 2 years, $27 million to keep Bradbury back to the veteran secondary. Miles Sanders is an interesting one because I think in real life you don't pay him, but I also think in the context and confines of Madden, letting a superstar running back go when you have this much salary cap would be a little bit on the dumb end. Okay, we'll go Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. I think overall, I think I've made it pretty clear. This is like one of the guys I would for sure re-sign if I'm Philadelphia. I would like to prioritize that. He just brings so much flexibility to the defense. So we're going to see 6 years, $96 million. He's a true DB. He's a guy that could start at safety. He could start at corner for us. That versatility needs to be rewarded. We got Miles Sanders in the backfield. This is such a tough one. It's a lot of money for a running back, but it's also not a lot of money. We'll offer him this. If he takes this, the neutral offer, which I think that's what Philly's going to do. I think Philly's going to give him a decent offer. Probably not the most money he'll get offered, but they'll give him a decent offer, and he wants to come back, so be it. If not, Kenny Gainwell's looked outstanding during this playoff run. We can look elsewhere, and he actually takes that offer. That's smart for Miles Sanders. I think, there's a scenario that Miles Sanders, we offer him a reasonable deal, and he comes back. TJ Edwards is another big one. Player friendly. Let's go maybe 6.5, 5 years, 6.5 mil. That's 4.5, 55. There we go. There's the first guy. It's only a matter of time till someone kind of said they want to cash out. So if he's cashing out, kind of means Kaiser White. We should try to re-sign him. So let's give Kaiser this 3-year deal, $14 million. And at least that way there, Kaiser White and Nakobe Dean can kind of be our 1-2 punch at linebacker this year. Javon Hargrave, I think this is a ridiculous offer. He's going to get way more money than this. But given the fact that he's still here, I'll offer him this contract so we don't have to worry about too much shuffling on the defensive line. Other than that, we're probably sitting in an okay spot. Could get Dillard and move him to guard potentially. But he's no interest in resigning. Like, look at the guys that want to be here. That's kind of what I'm looking for at this point. Not much left. So TJ Edwards, Isaac Seumalo, Marcus Epps will be the 3 starters. You can throw Boston Scott in there for the committee, but Epps, which will go Reed Blankenship at safety. Seumalo, need to find his replacement. TJ Edwards, need to find his replacement. But hey, we're still going, hitting the open market with $76 million, even though we do want to be conscientious of the fact that we had to pay Jalen Hurts sooner than later. So for free agency, we're going to go back memory lane. Alex Singleton hit the open market here, formerly of the Eagles. He got himself a dev trade increase. I just feel like for 1 year, he could come in, just be our third. We're going to have to go to Nakobe Dean for sure and Kaiser White as like our 1-2 punch. But Singleton can just be depth. There's no other bids on him. It's 1 year. It's not like a long-term cap tie. And it's just more of a depth move. And I'm going to look here at Isaiah Wynn. He hit the open market, formerly of the Patriots. I think he might do well moving to guard. So I want him to come in and be our Isaac Seumalo replacement at right guard. Let's see if we can hit on them. And we get both Isaiah Wynn and Alex Singleton is back to run it back as our linebacker 3. A little bit more of a veteran presence back there. So I'm preparing everybody. Now, obviously, this is an Eagles fan making an Eagles video. But, if Philly wins the Super Bowl, what's next on the horizon for the Eagles? I don't think free agency is going to be as easy as what we just had. I think looking at what we just did, I don't think, even though it's only on a 1-year deal, it's like we re-signed a franchise player, but I don't think Javon Hargrave has any chance of staying here. We might be able to get Bradbury. We might be able to find a way to get Bradbury and Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. But generally speaking, it could be a little bit of a rough of a free agency, but I don't think it's going to be necessarily as bad as some people think. But then it's like, oh, we just roll into after winning the Super Bowl, and we go to the draft where we, in real life, have the top 10 pick. We have pick 10 and either 30 or 31. So let's look at our team here. And what I think we're going to go to secondary. I think between Slay, Bradbury, and while we did go, like, you know, Reed Blankenship in terms of, like, over Epster to contract, I'm not completely against, you know, any upgrades that may exist here. We have 2 first-round picks. I want to consider corner. We have Keith Weatherspoon here. A lot of solid corners. You got to kind of decipher who's really going to be the best of the bunch. It's not the best combine there out of Witherspoon. I really think between Witherspoon, you got J.D. Vick. I think Hilton should be solid. Carlos Drake, we've drafted him before. This is the draft class that you get when you start today in the wildcard round. So we do have a little bit of, like, I remember drafting, he had normal dev. He was a high rating normal dev. Patterson could also be solid. I almost feel like in this case, like, give me the best athlete. We got J.D. Vick, B catching, B man, C press, he's own solid. He's 6'2", has elite jumping, elite acceleration. You know, pretty good combine, all things considered. I think Carl Hilton, I like that fact that he's 6'3", he's a scheme fit. B zone, B press, C man. D catching, don't really care too much about that. But we get elite acceleration here, a little bit faster. It's a tough one. What do we got at safety? Looking for a free safety between the free and strong. Kalen Brunson is the only free safety that's projected to go in the first round. Combine average. Looking at these strong safeties, Larry Derby, first, second round. It's all about, like, what order we need to grab these guys. Larry Derby, A hit power, B tackle, B zone, combine better. This might be like the safest pick right now. Corliss Conway, awesome name. Just don't have as much information on him, unfortunately. Also, combine looks solid. Because there's a couple guys, I think, like, if Vic's still there, if Hilton, maybe Patterson, who was the B-zone B-cat, if one of those guys is still there for their second first-round pick, I think we feel okay about that one. So I think I'm going to go Larry Derby here with the A and double B. Good combine. Ticks a lot of boxes. Sorry, Reed Blankenship. We're going to probably go Larry Derby starting back there. Okay, J.D. Vick just went off the board. He was probably my top corner pick. We have the Chiefs going to swoop in and grab one of our... They did not. So things kind of open itself up here at pick 32 to get the top corner that's left on the board. Other than that, man, we don't really have a lot of holes. I guess we'll go Hilton. Release between Hilton and Patterson. You know, Hilton at 6'3" with elite acceleration. Sure, we'll go with that big body on the outside. He also pops with a hidden dev, maximizing both of our first-round picks. I will say we're gonna... like, literally, I'm just trying to, like, replenish my team. Like, I need another guard, potentially. You look at the defense, our depth chart looks very full. Like, there's not really any position that is screaming, like, go add some depth here, C4, immediately. And I'm not really seeing any prospects. It's like, this is the guy we need to rush and go draft by any sense of the imagination. So, I'm actually going to do a callback. I remember this guy was pretty damn good. Kendrick Hennings, we'll bring him, and maybe if a contract goes awry with Landon Dickerson, potentially, or Isaiah Wynn's not the best, we only get him for 2 years. Hennings could be solid. I remember we drafted him in the last rebuild that we used with these draft classes. He was pretty damn good. Still there in the second round. Take that every day of the week. Don't really like the rest of my draft board, so I'm actually going to trade my last kind of big pick here, which is my third rounder in 2023, with the saltiest team I've ever seen, and pick up a future third round pick from the Niners. The computer kind of finished our draft here with our 7th round picks. Board was gone by then. So Larry Derby pops 74 hidden dev, strong safety. We're going to move him to free safety. It's going to be him and Chauncey Gardner-Johnson playing on the back of the defense. He looks pretty solid. Doesn't look ridiculous, but looks like a solid pick. Interested to see what that dev is. Same with Carl Hilton. Looks pretty damn good. 75, 6'3", hidden dev out of Kentucky. Great speed. 94 acceleration, 93 speed. With that size, obviously the jumping doesn't need to be too crazy. You're 6'3". So, I mean, that's a future proofing right there. Because we got Bradbury on a 1 year. Who knows when Slay is going to hang him up. Hennings was a little bit of a callback. Remember, he was going to be pretty solid. He's probably not going to see the field, but he's good depth and just kind of if contracts, its salary cap gets a little bit tight, knowing that we have continuing great depth on the offense. It's a Howie Roseman move. We got a 73 punter. We got Calvin Thomas at wide receiver and a 66 corner Yankee. Calvin Thomas, we've used him before. Computer hooked him up. Hidden dev speedster, right? 96 speed, 97 acceleration. Yeah. Probably not going to play much. Still going to be behind Quez Watkins. He's not as good as Quez, right? I'm not going to play this guy over Quez Watkins as long as Quez is on our roster. But that is an outstanding draft class with 3-4 hidden dev players. Year one for the Philadelphia Eagles, trying to run it back, trying to become the next Patriot dynasty. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to get too far because, like, I think that this matchup, this Super Bowl against it's going to be hard. Like, I thought comfortably, and I've said, especially if you follow me on the other channel, More C4, which is where I'm kind of putting my Eagles content, I thought comfortably Philly was going to kick the shit out of both the Giants and the 49ers. Obviously, I wasn't predicting the Niners were going to be losing their quarterback. It wasn't going to be close, I didn't think. I thought the Niners offensive line versus the Eagles defensive line was going to be so one-sided, which is exactly what it was. This one here, though, like, it's one of those ones where, like, it could go either way. And I think that, like, if Kansas City wins and Philly loses, it's going to suck. But, you know, it's like, all right, we lost to, like, the other best team. And we roll into, you know, a busy offseason with multiple high draft picks and all this stuff. And, like, it'll be good. But if Philly wins, that's like a Super Bowl in 2017, Super Bowl in 2022. And we still have a lot of the core is going to be, you know, Jalen Hurts. Shit, my controller died. Jalen Hurts isn't going anywhere. Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, the offensive line, for the most part, isn't going anywhere. Like, there could be something special on the horizon here for Philadelphia. So as we go into this year, same skill position starters as we had a year ago. We lost Jason Kelce and Isaac Seumalo, which sucks. But, you know, I think Isaiah Wynn's more than a suitable replacement. Time will tell if Cam Jurgens can develop. On the defensive side, we lost Brandon Graham to retirement, so we're going to kick down Hassan Riddick into that pass rushing role. I do think I want to get Jordan Davis on the field a little bit more. We'll still have that rotation, but, I mean, we need him to, you know, continue to grow and develop and hit his ceiling. Linebacking core, we have Nakobe Dean, Kaiser White, and Alex Singleton returning. No TJ Edwards. Secondary remains the exact same, running it back. We have a successor in place, be it if Bradbury or Slay is the first one to go in Hilton. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson's a monster. And I'll just say this, between Derby and Hilton, one of these guys, like from my weekly training, is going to be pretty damn good. We will see it as it all unfolds here this year, but I think this is definitely a team more than enough talent to go run it back and kind of begin this dynasty. And I'll say right now, as we beat the brakes off Dallas week one, like just kind of thinking about if I was someone watching this YouTube video, I will also do eventually, maybe we'll do it post Super Bowl because we can react a little bit differently, a realistic rebuild with the Eagles, like using real draft prospects with those 2 first-round picks. But I feel like this one here, a little bit more fantasy, because we have no idea. We're just going on the assumption that Philly ends up winning the Super Bowl, but then we'll have a realistic rebuild from the fallout from that Super Bowl, obviously, some point before the draft. 'Cause I was just kind of thinking, I was just like, Miles Sanders had a huge game week 1. I was like, man, imagine if, like, we did this rebuild, I ended up getting, like, Bijan Robinson or something crazy like that for the offense. So that's something I personally want to see. So if you are an Eagles fan and you want to see a real draft prospects rebuild with the Eagles with those 2 first-round picks, with this team, that will be coming at a later date. But I will get done for sure. So we're about the midway point of year 1 with a nice Week 12 victory. Close, 20-17 over Dallas. And what is a pretty competitive NFC outside of the Cowboys. 8-3 for the Giants, 8-3 for the Eagles, 9-2 for the Commanders. So happy with where we're at, defending our Super Bowl title. But it's time to talk about contracts with only $36 million of available salary cap. Just gonna get toit. Well, first comes up is Jalen Hurts. Oh my God, I don't have enough to pay him. Okay. This is a problem. It's not that big of a problem because we'll have to go all or nothing. Like right now, basically what the problem is Slay's, like if I offer Slay, the gamble is going to be, can I offer Darius Slay? We're going to offer Slay because he wants to stay here. We'll get Slay on a 1 year. The gamble is going to be the influx of salary cap that we get at the end of the year. Is that going to be enough to pay Jalen Hurts? I think it's going to be one of those deals. Worst case, we just franchise tag him for a year while we kind of handle the salary cap. We're going to lose both our D tackles. Just no way we can keep Fletcher Cox and Javon Hargrave. And, everything else is kind of expected. So we are going to come down the wire for Jalen Hurts, but I don't think he's going to be going anywhere. And year 1 for our Eagles rebuild ends pretty well. 14-3. We're the 1 seed in the NFC. Ridiculous NFC. So NFC beast remains as every team goes well above 500. Taking a look at our stats this season. Obviously, still a lot's looming with Jalen Hurts' contract. We're going to have to figure that out. Jalen Hurts, pretty damn good. 4,800 yards passing, 41 touchdowns to 9 picks. Pretty good. Also chipped in 500 yards rushing, 8 so he is 49. He might be MVP. Should be at least top 3. DC and Miles Sanders, 1,100 yards, 15 touchdowns. On a receiving front, 83 catches, 1,300 yards, 10 tutties for A.J. Brown. 83 catches, 1,200 yards, 12 tutties for Devontae Smith. Just shy of 900 yards, 9 touchdowns for Goddard. Really everybody kind of ate that we expected. Defensively, 125 tackles for Kaiser White, 3 picks as well, and over 100 tackles for both CJ, GJ, and Nakobe Dean in his first year as a starter. 13 sacks to Hassan Riddick, 10 from Fletcher Cox, 5 from Josh Sweat. Might see a little bit of regret. I mean, then again, those 18 TFLs might help Josh Sweat keep his superstar. A little bit worried about Jordan Davis losing his superstar as well, but 14 TFLs could be enough. On the interception front, that's, we drafted a corner to replace Slay and or Bradbury, but I knew Slay was going off, and you just can't let an X factor with 6 picks just walk. We sign Slay, and then we'll figure out what we're going to do with Jalen Hurts. Even if we have to make cuts elsewhere, Slay, what a monster. Looking at the yearly awards, MVP goes to Patrick Mahomes beating out Jalen Hurts. The rivalry continues. Maybe a little bit of a mini rivalry here. Offensive Player of the Year goes Cooper Kupp, Josh Allen, Adrian Moore, Kentrell Sharp. Do we have any Eagles? They disrespect. Jake Elliott, there we go. Jake the Snake. Might get that star dev trade or something like that. Wow. Very much like the current NFL honors. No Eagles win any individual accolades. And again, the only award that I really thought, I was thinking Nick Sirianni should have got Coach of the Year. I think Brandon Graham should have got Comeback Player of the Year. If not Brandon Graham, Nick Gates from the Giants should have got Comeback Player of the Year. But that opens up a whole nother argument about should there be a Comeback Player of the Year award and then a Most Improved Player of the Year award. I made that tweet like a month ago. Still rings true. I think that's be like the NBA, because Brandon Graham coming off a torn Achilles to have a career year, or Nick Gates, like the Giants center who destroyed, had 9 leg surgeries, came back to be a starter. That's more impressive than Geno Smith and Saquon Barkley coming back from sucking the year before. I don't know. Either way, I digress. No individual awards for Philly. We kick off this year taking on the last place team in the, you already know we're going to lose this, right? But then again, we're a different Philadelphia Eagle team. Maybe something cool happens. Who knows? I would love to go this whole rebuild without losing to Dallas once. But that's easier said than done. We handle business. We actually got to run through the NFC East. We beat Dallas 31-22, and in the conference championship, Super Bowl on the line, Eagles Giants, a revenge game from 2022. Giants, Saquon, Danny Dimes. We lose. The Giants ruined the opportunity for a repeat. 38-27. At least Kansas City didn't make it on there. So what? Who did they get? They got Tyler Hunt. We lost to Tyler Huntley. Saquon with 4 rushing touchdowns. A truly disgusting performance from my Eagles, to be completely honest with you. Year 1 Giants are somehow Giants win the Super Bowl. Shout out to that Canadian Brian Dable doing the damn thing. NFC Beast. Looking at our squad. As the year ends, we lost the superstar in Miles Sanders, gained an X factor on Jalen Hurts, and that's it as it relates to dev traits. Defensively, this is where I think it could be a little bit rough. Oh, wow. We lost the superstar at Hargrave, who's about to hit free agency. Lost the dev trait on Singleton, is what it is. Lost the superstar on Gardner Johnson and Bradbury. Hilton was a star. I saw this from the training. Derby, our first Larry's Derby X Factor, baby. And this is the same draft class that you guys are going to use if you use the same starting point of the wildcard round. So if you're in the market for a safety, Larry Derby is an X factor right out the gate. Take that for whatever information you can get. But Jalen Hurts up to an X factor. So we dust ourselves off. We still got 4 more years to try to win another Super Bowl. But right now, it's re-signing Jalen Hurts. We do have $43 million of salary cap. Might make it a little bit more attainable, which it does. We'll give him 6 years. Okay, we're going to have to, I don't even know. We're getting probably pretty close to the limit that we can offer him. We'll go 27.5, and we'll bump that up to maybe 19 flush. 6 years, 279. Is that what he's going to want? Is he going to want more years? Maybe we'll go 7. I'm nervous. I mean, we can just franchise tag him. We'll go 7 years, 329 million. Wouldn't even let me offer him that much. A little bit more risky. 6 years, 273. All right, team player. What a leader. My QB. Not even going to window shop in free agency. We have $1 million. We're not signing anybody. It's better just to be clueless as to who's available. We will, however, pick up the 5th-year option on Devontae Smith, an absolute superstar stud at wide receiver. So for me, knowing kind of how this free agency was going to work out, I did like all of my eggs in the basket of scouting D tackles because I knew we're going to lose both Hargrave and Fletcher Cox. So we have a lot of the D tackles almost fully scouted for the most part. So now we can kind of like, you know, cherry pick. Who do we want to select? We got Tevin Barclay. Looks like he could be pretty good. Braden Brooks, former Eagle, is now back. D-tackle, that guy actually looks incredible. Honestly, the rest of these D-tackles aren't, I mean, maybe based off of combine, you might be able to find someone. But I'm not loving the talent here at D-tackle. Maybe we got some DNs, some big DNs that might be able to kick in to a defensive tackle spot. And none of those exist, apparently. Yikes. Okay, could be pretty tough to replace Fletcher Cox and Javon Hargrave here with this draft class. To be honest with you, I mean, what else did we make? Another linebacker, potentially. I mean, we're not drafting, you know, any of these guys super early. Even that, these guys look like like D's, dude. What is this draft class? This guy, I guess, DeAndre Dodson, got the double A's. Oh, man, this looks like a pretty shit class. D-tackle is one of those spots where there's almost always like 2, 3, 4 guys that are like clearly going to be. This might be the worst defensive tackle class. It's going to be Milton Williams season, fellas, because these guys suck. So with that, we're going to have to just go with the best player available, which we never, you know, Harris would never draft, but I think we go with Dodson with his 3 A's. His combine, not the best. Does have elite acceleration, which is pretty good, but not particularly fast. This is just a bad draft. Like, look who's left. Matt Best got the 3. I mean, do we go corner again? What's this guy's combine look like? Pretty solid. What is he? 4.3 speed at 6'3". Just re-signed Slay. Three A's. We don't know what that. I'll grab the linebacker. I guess the linebacker might be able to make more of an impact. And of course, just fucking normal. Like this draft class is awful. So we have the 3rd pick in the 2nd round. Don't know how that happened. Can we grab that corner still? Matt Best is still here. So yeah, let's grab this guy. He's probably normal dev as well because this draft class is terrible. One of the worst generate draft classes I remember in recent memory. Wanted to grab a tackle to be Lane Johnson's replacement just because he's getting up there in age a little bit. But knowing that we have Isaiah Wynn on the roster who has tackle experience, I'm kind of thinking this guy looks like the best player available. Grayson Shelton at center, 6'3", 210. So he's built enough that we could probably, if we had to, shuffle him to guard and then kick Isaiah Wynn out to the tackle spot if we had to. But easily was a kind of a BPA in this spot. And finally, a hidden dev player. All right, one of the worst drafts I've seen in recent memory. Maybe the ratings will save us a little bit. Oh, yeah, they did a little bit. I completely simmed after this 3rd round pick, so the computer got us to 66. Maybe there's some dev traits in there, but I mean, it was a rough draft. We got Rashard McMath as 70 D tackle, normal dev in the 3rd round. Shelton, which really out of all the picks looked like he might have been the best in terms of like a dev trait because his combine was so good. He is 71 hidden dev. And just more so a depth option in case we need to shuffle the line around for some retirements. Best, who we were kind of do we get him in the first round? Do we not? 77 is a pretty damn good rating to pull here. High floor type player. Maybe not the highest ceiling because he's stuck on that normal dev. He's not going to play a lot early on to get that dev trade increase. And then we have DeAndre Dotson, who will actually play relatively. I think he's going to be right there with Kaiser White and Kobe Dean starting as a rookie. 74, not the best athlete. Really good. That's just a weird 79 speed, but 91 acceleration. So he's explosive, I guess. So, I mean, not a bad draft class when all is said and done, but overall, like the players we were picking with, wasn't like we had a whole lot of options. It was very weak class. Year 2 for the Philadelphia Eagles. We're going to try to get back to the Super Bowl as it relates to the offense. No more Quez. Thomas is going to almost a like-for-like replacement burner at that wide receiver 3 spot. Jalen Hurts is up to an X factor. And I'm going to go Shelton. You don't have to shovel the O-line just yet. And given the fact that they're both 72s, I'll go with the guy with the dev trait at this point. So that's what we're going to do there with Shelton. On the defensive side of the ball, Milton Williams and Jordan Davis going to step up. That is our new D-tackle pairing with Fletcher Cox and Hargrave hitting free agency. Nothing else too crazy. Dodds, I mean, the linebacker core would love to see maybe one of these guys go up a dev trait sooner than later. Maybe to Kobe Dean because he's highest ceiling at this point. But really a solid team. Maybe a little weak at the linebacker spot. But still definitely a playoff-bound team. It's all about kind of how competitive the NFC East is going to be here in year 2. Last year was ridiculous. Everyone had 10 wins. Midway point of year number 2, and we're 6-2. Giants, man. Tyler Huntley season. Let's take a look at some contracts here. We have our salary cap's at least like somewhat manageable, but also we have a lot of guys, man. A lot of guys that are getting ready to bounce, so we're gonna have to prioritize here just a little bit. Okay, Landon Dickerson will start. He'll be one of our bigger priorities. So we'll start 3 years, 46.5. Get him locked up. In terms of ceiling, he's probably one of the better guys. Josh Sweat, that superstar. Worried that he's going to lose that dev trait sooner than later, but we'll get him on a 3-year deal. We got 25 remaining. Slay has not dropped off in play whatsoever, and he loves... Oh my God, he wants to stay for 2 years. So, this is decisions. Honestly, at this point. I honestly think we're going to have to, for how our team is built, I think we got to go Riddick before we go one of the corners, which is absurd, but Slay at 33, he's probably got 1 more year left. We get Riddick, that's 2, if not 3 more years left of a premier pass rusher. We have depth at corner, potentially, right? One hidden dev corner. This is tough. God damn it, why is it so hard? Slay's just getting so many interceptions. So I got Slay on a 2-year. Hopefully he plays that full 2 years. Followed from that is, I don't know if there's any way that we could, there's just no way. There's no way we can re-sign Hassan Riddick, at least at this point. Hopefully we get a little influx of salary cap. I would love to re-sign Maddox. He takes that. All right, Maddox takes that, so we keep our slot corner. And, it's just going to be one of those deals. Hopefully we get that influx cap and we can find a way to make Hassan and Riddick work. And the end of year 2, we go 12-5. The Giants are somehow a juggernaut, and they finish with a tiebreaker to win the NFC East. Still happy with this record. Take a look at our stats. Last time I did check, Jalen Hurts did have the most passing touchdowns, which he did. 43 touchdowns to 5. Insane. Just real quick. I mean, that's a lot of interception, but Brian Dable got Tyler Huntley going out of his freaking mind down there for New York. Insane year out of Jalen Hurts. Oh my God, what? 56 touchdowns from Jalen Hurts. That might be the most I've seen in a single season. Not only that, 5 picks. Huh. He got to be. If he's not MVP, there's a glitch, right? If he's 56, if you're not MVP, glitch. Devontae Smith, 17 touchdowns on 1,000 yards, and 9 for A.J. Brown, 8 and 6 for Dallas Goedert. Defensively, over 100 tackles for both Dean and White. Would love for both those guys maybe be star devs, especially Kaiser. 5 interceptions. That's a huge year. 9.5 sacks to Hassan Riddick, 8 from Josh Sweat, 8 from Milton Williams. Actually, they really like to re-sign him. Another one of those guys. Milton Williams and Hassan Riddick, two of our best pass rushers, still do not have contracts going into year 3. 5 picks, Kaiser White. 4 for Slay. I mean, Slay's playing at such a high level, though, at the end of the day. I think we had to re-sign him. Yearly Awards MVP does go to Jalen Hurts. An insane, probably one of the best sim years I've seen. From a quarterback that Jalen Hurts, we haven't played with this new Jalen Hurts, but we've done a couple videos with Jalen Hurts, and he's always kind of struggled in the sim. So I guess it just took for him earning an 85 superstar starting point for him to be an absolute baller. Looking at the rest of the award winners, Jalen Hurts, I mean, he's already an X Factor, so it's not like we can gain or lose too much. And unfortunately, no other award winners here for Philadelphia. But we start year 2 with an opportunity in the playoffs to run the gauntlet against the New Orleans Saints, a team that we have just been absolutely fleecing in the offseason. They get one over on us. We're one and done disappointingly in the playoffs. Jalen Hurts, 56 touchdowns, and he gets 1 in the most important game of the season. That's unfortunate. And we end year 2 with the Giants go to the Super Bowl again, losing to the Broncos. What is going on with Tyler Huntley and those dudes? Absurd. For dev traits in closing, gearing up for year 3. On the offensive side of the ball, A.J. Brown, even with a good year, loses his X factor, which is pretty damn disappointing. Nothing else changed on the offensive side of the ball. Defensively, N'Kobe Dean went up to a star. Dotson was hidden dev linebacker. He pops as a star. So, not much regression outside of I honestly think, I don't think A.J. Brown should have lost his X factor, to be honest with you. So to follow up being incredibly disappointed with being one and done in the playoffs, we are $6 million in the red. So we had to throw the idea of finding a way to bring back Hassan Riddick out the window, and we had to make some cuts. So I cleared up like all the depth guys that I could, and we're still $1.5 million over, so we're actually going to have to get rid of someone we probably don't want to. All right, we'll get rid of one of the running backs. They're both just kind of, honestly, we get rid of both these running backs, and then hopefully like the new league year starts, and we get somehow like a little bit of bonus. Like we don't need enough money, I don't think, to sign our draft picks at this point. So we're just gonna keep on keeping on here. All right, so the draft is going to be annoying because Tevin Fitzsimmons was my top edge rusher. He's now off the board. I guarantee this board's going to look disgusting. Is Herrera still here at pass or cape? Nope. Both pass rushers that I really like the look of are gone. Do we have Sims at D-tackle? We do. All right. This was our only other option. Zach Sims looked pretty good. B power move, A tackle, B block shed, 6'6", 318 with a very good combine. Almost top 5 and, well, is top 5 in everything you're looking for. Great athlete. So he's going to play allowing Jordan Davis in the middle of our defense. In the second round, we're able to pop with a dev trait. Not ridiculous. He just had the best agility, elite acceleration. Which, if 86 is pulling elite, that's not great for the draft class. So finishing out the draft here, anytime you can get 2 players with hidden devs at positions of need, you're always going to feel kind of decent about it. The rest of the draft class wasn't anything special, but Zach Sims comes in as a 75 hidden dev. Which, I mean, him with his athleticism, pairing that with Jordan Davis and his athleticism, you know, we should keep on keeping on. Givens, I wasn't super hyped. I mean, a 70 hidden dev, sure, maybe there's a ceiling there. Maybe he gets 7-8 sacks, gets defensive rookie of the year, and pops another dev trait. We're going to need a lot of help, though, on that defensive line to replenish. We got a 72 running back to come in and be RB2 behind Miles Sanders, a power back, good compliment, Trent Albury out of Ohio. And the rest of the draft class, you know, fairly solid. Got a 70 wide receiver here, Kendrick Drake. But, yeah. Tough. It's going to be tough to replace all those guys that we had to let walk because we couldn't afford them. Year 3 for the Philadelphia Eagles, looking to bounce back from being 1 and done in the playoffs last year. This is how our squad is looking up in terms of the offense. We're running it back. You know, exact same guys, except Isaiah Wynn went to free agency. Hennings has got to step up at right guard. Still expect this offensive line to be playing at a very high level. And Jalen Hurts to play like, you know, the MVP. Looking at the defense, we definitely need Givens on left end. Get him playing. Go with him over Kyron Johnson. Kyron Johnson, great athlete. Was a part of the Eagles 2021 draft class, I believe, out of Kansas. But we got to go with the guy with the dev trait with a higher ceiling, at least perceived higher ceiling, which is you know, what we're going to do there. Linebacking core, Nakobe Dean. Excited to see him. Both these linebackers take their game to another level. Secondary, you got to replenish just a little bit. Luckily, you know, Best is a good player. Hilton does have the dev trait, so, you know, we might not have Bradbury out there anymore, but we have pretty good depth. I think we're going to be able to survive there just a little bit. So all in all, still a very good team. It's just, like, what the hell is going on with the Giants? Why are they a juggernaut in this rebuild? The salary cap is kind of biting us in the ass a little bit, even though it shouldn't. We're still at 89 overall. It's year 3 of a rebuild. Year 3 is always the random year in the Madden sim. It's been like that for a couple years now. I would love to bounce back, but is what it is. So we got a lot of free agents yet again. It's kind of been the theme of this rebuild. A lot of free agents, not a lot of money to just re-sign everybody willy-nilly. We'll start with Devontae Smith. Give him a player-friendly deal. He should be our top priority. Next up, we got Dallas Goedert. Awkward age. 5-year deal is not going to probably age that well. We can't let him walk. Need to keep him in the building. It's another tough one. Do you get the 35-year-old or do you get the 28-year-old that wants to stay? I think we're going to start with Mailata. It'd be nice to get him on this neutral deal, which we did, which might give us a little bit more wiggle room. We have $12 million left. We can't, you know, obviously we're not even going to be able to extend a deal to Lane Johnson. So we might as well take that money and try to keep Nakobe Dean in the building. We'll give him a very player-friendly 4-year deal. Him locked and loaded. And hopefully Lane Johnson just retires so we don't have to see him go play for somebody else. All right, actually, let's click this, and this better be about Lane, which like, at least gives you an idea that he's going to retire for the last hurrah. I think we had one for Jason Kelsey, and it is Lane. So, like, you know, at least we could rest easy knowing that while we can't pay to keep Lane, he's going to ride off in the sunset as long as we're not one and done. Looking at how we play this year, definitely a little bit of a down year, a little bit of a weird year. Thought about mid-season we weren't going to make the playoffs. Ended up, you know, Jalen Hurts played pretty well, the MVP. Not really an MVP caliber season, but, I mean, combine both the stats, still a really good year. He's got to make the short list. Nice year for Devontae Smith. A.J. Brown's going down to star dev, that is for sure. Defensively, Nakobe Dean, tackle machine. That's why it rhymes. 10 sacks, Zach Sims from D-tackle. He might get, what's his dev? He might get Defensive Rookie of the Year, which will bump that up off a Silver Boy, hopefully up to a Goldie Boy. He's wearing Jerome Brown's number. Probably should change out of respect, but also I don't care about numbers, to be honest with you. As long as it's not Weapon X. Is someone wearing 20? I don't think so. So yeah, just off year. Year 3 off year is what it is. Luckily, we still made the playoff. Jalen Hurts number 3 in the MVP race for the individual awards. Love to see Defensive Rookie of the Year, Zach Sims, which we do. So hopefully that bodes well for him to go up to a superstar, which is exactly how you replace, you know, Fletcher Cox or Von Hargrave. James Bradbury leaves Eagles, goes to the Lions as a veteran, wins DB of the Year, so he's likely to go back to a superstar. That sucks. Wish he was doing it for us. But for love of God, can we please not be one and none? Atlanta is a tough sim team. They have a pretty good playbook here, but not good enough as we defeat the Falcons 31-24. And we take on the Green Bay Packers in the divisional round. Trying to run the gauntlet here. Green Bay in a shootout defeats the Philadelphia Eagles 48-42, man. The journey, the pursuit. It's an overtime loss to win another Super Bowl. It wasn't on Jalen Hurts, man, on the defense. Couldn't stop something known as a Johnny Winters as Jalen Hurts goes for 5 touchdowns to 1 interception. So we lick our wounds and we get ready to run it back again in year 4. Zach Sims, oh, come on, please be superstar. Zach Sims, Defensive Rookie of the Year. And yes, there we go. I'm a little worried about, we're going to go look at our depth traits a sec. Maybe Jordan Davis. He's not really crushing it. I know TFLs do help D-tackles keep their dev traits, and he's been getting those, but I don't know. It just feels like it's only a matter of time until he goes down to a star. On the offensive side of the ball, in terms of dev traits, A.J. Brown lost his superstar, but Dallas Goedert gained a superstar. So, I mean, at least for our receivers, our skill position guys, we have our 2 superstars that we started the year with. Just, I mean, that's a bad year for A.J. Brown. That sucks that you see that. Jordan Davis did lose his superstar, but luckily Sims is there. Givens is continuing to develop. For rest of the dev trait, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson back up to a superstar dev. So all in all, could have been worse. So we gear up for year 4. But still, we have literally $20,000, I think, of available salary cap. So not signing anybody. And you know what? This is like one of those rebuilds. We've drafted okay, but the last 2 drafts have not been particularly good. So, like, of course, the one rebuild, like, I've had some heaters in terms of landing draft players the last couple of rebuilds we've recorded. And of course, now here with Philadelphia, where so much is going to have to be killing the draft because we have no money to sign free agents. We've had back-to-back incredibly average to below average draft classes. Hopefully it changes this year. So hopefully Lane Johnson retires. He's not on the team, so he might run it back. So, but Darius Slay did retire, which gives us a little bit of wiggle room as it relates to salary cap. We went from 20 grand to over $17 million, so we might be able to sign somebody. And honestly, we're probably just going to shuffle the Slay money around, especially if Lane is running it back for another season. We'll give him Darius Slay's money and keep Lane Johnson till he retires. So for this draft, not really any, glaring holes for the roster. So I do think we kind of we got to go like BPA. And this guy looked like the best of the bunch. Again, it's corner. We're trying to just throw guys at the spot. But anytime you get a corner that has double Bs, no Ds right out the bat. He's 6'2", 6'3", something like that. 6'1". And he has that good of a combine elite acceleration. You kind of just gamble that. He's going to have a dev trait, which Derek Hobson does. Slay retired. There's your guy. Hopefully he's his replacement. So take a look at our draft recap. And Derek Hobson, he looked amazing, and he's amazing. 75 hidden dev, likely. We got some guys there, though, at corner right now. They're not named guys. They've kind of been, generated depth players for the most part that are solid, but he's definitely going to throw his name into the mix and potentially start as a rookie. Year 4 for the Philadelphia Eagles, trying to keep this thing on the tracks with such limitations for salary cap. And boo-hoo, woe is me, my team's so good. You had issues keeping a freaking super team together. Well, yes. But I think we've done a decent job. Offensively, we look ready to rock and roll. Defensively, Hobson's dev already got unveiled with our coaching tree. We have that ability where you can just unveil one dev trait per year. It's only a star. I think we probably let him start. Hilton, we didn't pick up his 5th-year option, so he's had to be free. Let's get Hobson those reps, see if he can close that gap and turn a rating. We have Best, who's an 80, Maddox 83, the veteran of the group. So a little bit worried about the secondary. That third linebacker spot, not so much. We just run a whole lot of nickel. It's Dodson and Dean on the field most of the time. Our safeties are elite, so maybe that helps with some questions. Even the secondary's not that bad. It's just not like a super team secondary. So I think the offense got the carry load this year. Optimistic, though, we'll have another opportunity in the playoffs here in year 4. And about halfway of year 4, it's competitive. The NFC East, we're last place. We're 500. We're only a game back from the Giants for first place in the division. Let's look at the salary. This has been the most depressing part of this rebuild. It's like, all right, let's go look at who we have to pay and who's going to have to, unfortunately, probably walk. All right, we'll start on the offensive line. Hennings, he's been a solid starter for us. Don't really want to let a dev trait young lineman walk. We get A.J. Brown, even though he hasn't been playing. You know what? Honestly, I don't want to disrespect A.J. Brown because he's so good in real life right now. But I'll go to the level of disrespect of he won't get the money right away. We'll see if we can re-sign other people, and then we'll come back to A.J. Brown if we have some leftovers. Hilton in the secondary. He's not even playing right now. So let Hilton go. Is Lane going to retire? We got to go A.J. Brown next. And then maybe be optimistic that Lane potentially retires. And I say that it's just like, obviously it's going to create a hole for us at right tackle, but you know what? Let's re-sign him, or at least give him an offer. And then if he does retire, we get that money back. It's not like that money's gone because we don't want to replace Lane. And everything else kind of goes as expected. We got $16 million available right now, and we'll be able to at least sign one guy for free agency for that year 5 Super Bowl, or it's not really Super Bowl bust because we started the rebuild, but we'll like to see a second Super Bowl if we can get one. Even with the holes, our team's still too damn good to not make the playoffs. So we end up winning the East. Competitive East, 11-6. Big Week 18 victory, 37-31 over the Giants. We get to run it back right away into the wild card round. Quickly looking at our stats here. Jalen Hurts played well, but you can tell his play is starting to slip just a little bit, which I don't really know why. Miles Sanders had his best year of the rebuild. Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown, both with solid years. Dallas Goedert with a respectable year. Thomas, he's going to get paid decent in free agency going into that as a wide receiver 3 with almost 1,000 yards. Dean and Dobson, both great years. Dean, outstanding. 122 tackles, 4 interceptions, 10.5 sacks. Josh Sweat, 6 from Sims. Not really getting much else. Pass rush. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, 4 interceptions, tied for the lead on the team with Nakobe Dean. We still have the #1 offense in the NFL, so I'm not going to be too critical. It's not so much all on Jalen Hurts right now. We're getting a little bit more Miles Sanders involved, which is never that bad of a problem to have. Looking at the award winners, I mean, we didn't really have any standout players whatsoever. So, we get to run it right back. Week 18 rematch against the Giants, who have for some reason been incredibly tough in this rebuild. Would hate to be one and done for like the second time, which we are. Awesome. Year 5 coming up. Fucking unreal. The Jets win an incredibly one-sided Super Bowl 48-10 over the Rams. And our final dev traits, up or down, going into the final year of the rebuild. Miles Sanders back up to a superstar. No one else went up or down, so that's good for the offense. Defensively, Nakobe Dean up to a superstar, which is huge. I'll take that. They have one shot for one free agency signing. It either came, like, can we get an upgrade in the secondary, which the market didn't really dictate that, or get that third wide receiver. And we have Rashad Ivory. I don't know if you remember, but he was that UDFA player from that first draft class that everyone gets. That was an absolute stud. It would be cool to see if we can land him. And he tells us to, oh, no, he does. There we go. We got our slot wide receiver, Rashad Ivory. The UDFA legend is back. I want to trade. I got a plan. I got a plan to kind of help our secondary out. The Bears, we're at pick 3. We're going to offer our first round this year, our second round this year, and our first round next year. I don't even know if this will get over the line. It will, because I think there might be an opportunity here for a generational player. Pick 3. I was like, all right, it's the final year of this rebuild. I was interested all along because we've had limited cap in terms of like who, should we just go all in for a player and look at Dylan Bailey. Chance for all A's, 6'2", 210, elite acceleration, elite agility, elite change of direction, 4.4 speed. Let's draft him. I think he's going to be ridiculous. And what I'm thinking is we'll have him and we'll have the X Factor. And then we'll kick Chauncey Gardner-Johnson back to slot corner. So we have 3 very strong DBs to kind of solidify our secondary. Yep. Dylan Bailey, 83 generation. I mean, I'm not going to say he's generational because he could. I have had guys that are in the 80s that have star dev, which I think lose a little bit of the generational. But right out of Clemson, Clemson safeties have a history with Philadelphia. Is this Weapon X 2.0? I'll let you. We'll see. We'll see if you can earn it here in year 5. 5th and final year for our 91 overall Eagles with a 95 offense. Here's what I was thinking. I'll show you guys more so on the back end. It makes sense. I think it was the right call. Offensively, let's see what the X Factor Jalen Hurts can do with one more year. Can he get back to that MVP form? We added Ivory via free agent to come really solidify this offense as a complete offense. There's no holes. Defensively, here's what we're going to be doing. So the front 7 is the exact same front 7 we had last year. The secondary, a little bit shaken up, a little bit of a, a question mark, if you will. So we have Derby, the X Factor free safety, who's been outstanding, our first pick. He's going to be our free safety. Bailey, Weapon X 2.0 potentially, is going to be our starting strong safety. And then we're going to put Chauncey Gardner-Johnson in that slot spot. And we'll also have Bailey be like a backup sub linebacker. So he's just going to be on the field a whole lot here. We'll go Devontae in the slot. I just think, that move now. Because, slot is a starter for this Eagles defense. So Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, Bailey, and Derby, 3 safeties will be on the field at all times. I think that's giving us our strongest possible secondary that we can have. So I have no issues getting a potential, generational draft prospect and giving up all those picks late. Doesn't matter. It's the end of the video. I don't care about those future picks. I think that might be just enough to get this team over the hump and get back to another Super Bowl. We finished out year 5, dominant showing, 15-2. Just edging out the Commanders, 14-3. Very competitive NFC East yet again, except the Giants fell back down to earth. We have the #1 offense in the NFL, top 10 defense. It's a solid year. They look at our stats. How do we become the 1 seed? Jalen Hurts back on his MVP shit. 4,700 yards, 42 touchdowns. Also chipped in 500 yards, 5. Big year out of Miles Sanders as well. He's heated up the last 2 seasons of this rebuild. Devontae, 1,300 yards, 16 touchdowns, 12 and 11 for A.J. Brown. Ivory was solid. Goddard was solid. Defensively, Nakobe Dean, bunch of tackles. Bailey, the rookie. Will we see if he was superstar from this screen? I'm not sure. I want to see that depth chart. I'm excited. If it's star, that's going to be a little bit of a bummer. But he was played very well. Getting on the field. 9.5 sacks, Zach Sims. 7 from Jordan Davis. Jordan Davis' best year of the rebuild. What better time than year 5? Matt Best. Don't let the normal dev trade fool you. 5 picks. Very impressive. Let's see Dylan Bailey. But it's actually generational. We got a generational safety. We'll give him the credit. He's Weapon X. We traded all the picks up to get him. He is exactly the needle mover we needed for this year 5 to go on and try to make a push. MVP goes to that thing, beating out Jalen Hurts. Disrespectful. It's fine. Dylan Bailey, Defensive Rookie of the Year, already an X Factor, so we didn't really need much. Devontae Smith, Wide Receiver of the Year. So if we go to the Super Bowl, he'll likely be an X Factor, which would be pretty cool. And we have the Kicker of the Year. Even that guy looks like he's an 80-year-old man. He's a kicking wizard. As he is, Kicker of the Year will likely go up a dev trait as well. You need a clutch kicker when all is said and done. Don't lose. We'll hop in. We'll sit here. We'll watch this one, see what happens. But I'm very fearful of being one and done. It's kind of been a trend in this video. Let's kick back and enjoy this one. The Link hosting a NFC East playoff matchup. Last time this happened, worked out pretty well as the Eagles kicked the living shit out of Brian Dable, Coach of the Year, and the New York Giants. What can we do here today? They got Tua under center for Washington. He was Offensive Player of the Year, Quarterback of the Year in the NFC, so we know that he's a good player. He's fitting in well. Washington maximizing his talents. But I do think there is a little bit of a gap between us. There's a reason why the Philadelphia Eagles were able to win the NFC East. The Commanders came second place. But there is an argument to be had that these are the two best teams in the NFC, two of the best records. But just on this day, not enough from the Commanders as Jalen Hurts and a monster game from Devontae Smith, 7 catches, 158 yards, defeat the Commanders 24-19. We're going to the championship. Standing between us and the Super Bowl, San Francisco 49ers. I mean, oddly similar to the Super Bowl run that the Eagles are currently on here in year 5. I'll tell you what, though, I hate the Niners right now so much that I probably will hop in if things get a little outrageous, try to steer this one over the line. But both offenses starting out pretty hot, 7-7. 4th down, I would have liked to see maybe a QB sneak there. As we settle for the field goal, Niners go down and get back-to-back touchdown drives. We're able to get a touchdown. We go into halftime to a limited score. We get the go-ahead score to cook out the second half. Back-to-back touchdown drives for the Eagles. Halftime adjustments from Nick Sirianni and company have been outstanding. And there's a turnover and just piling on. And surprise, surprise, the Eagles and Niners meet in the NFC Championship game 5 years apart. Nothing changed. Absolute ass-kicking. The Eagles own the Niners. Super Bowl is set up between the Eagles and the Jets. The Jets actually beat us in the regular season. That was one of our 2 losses. So we have a chance to finish. And this video is already over an hour, so screw it. Let's look at our final rebuild stats for our Eagles players, especially Jalen Hurts. So Jalen Hurts is sitting at 30,000 passing yards, 243 touchdowns to 63 picks. Outstanding. Though in the fact that he also has 44, round that up to 4,500 rushing yards and 65 rushing touchdowns. Hall of Fame career there. Straight up for Jalen Hurts, over 300 touchdowns. And he's only been in the league for what? 7 seasons? Insane. Miles Sanders, 10,000 rushing yards, 82 touchdowns. Great. Receiving, A.J. Brown obviously did some of that damage with the Titans, but did more of it with the Eagles. At this point in time, he's just shy of 10,000 receiving yards, 75 touchdowns. 8,000 yards, 81 touchdowns for Devontae. 7,500 yards, 56 touchdowns for Dallas Goedert. You love seeing that. I mean, even Sanders, that's solid numbers out the backfield for him. Defensively, Nakobe Dean, 651 tackles. Not a lot of veterans have a whole lot of tackles. 57 sacks from Josh Sweat. 21 picks. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson did a lot of that. 12 for Avonte Maddox. So I'm happy with all those numbers, man. Those guys have put in work here in this rebuild. And I would love to cap it off with a second Super Bowl standing in our way. Again, we're over an hour, so I don't care if there's a little bit longer. Let's just see what this Jets team's looking like. It's odd to see the Jets there. What did they do at quarterback? What did they figure out? They got this guy. They drafted one, Garrett Franklin out of Sam Houston. Has escape artist, even though he has 76 speed. Okay. Breece Hall's a monster. Garrett Wilson, Elijah Moore doing the damn thing. They have an X-Factor tight end, Eric Marshall. Okay. They got Jonah Williams. AVT, Mekhi Becton. So their O-line's solid. Defensively, they got, that could be a little bit of a revenge game, even though I would have loved to keep Hassan Riddick for the whole rebuild. He's up to an X-Factor now. Just didn't have enough money. They got Hassan Riddick, Quinnen Williams, 99 X-Factor. This is actually a ridiculous. They got TJ. They're just stealing our players. Joe Douglas poaching. Philadelphia Eagles, Sauce Gardner. Okay. I see you. We'll probably have to hop in at some point. Maybe take a shot play. Devontae Smith. If it's even close. Opening drive of the Super Bowl. It's a punt. Trading punts. But we've had a lot more play in their field. Oh, there's a turnover. Turnover defense. It's nothing but field goals. It's great defense here today. Philly gets the first touchdown of the game before the end of the first half. Jets also equalized. It feels like anything we can do, they can do. At least match it. How we didn't get any points there. Oof. Lot of momentum. We're down 7. Gets a turnover. We tied at 20. Next time we get an opportunity on offense, I think I'm going to come in. Red zone, 2nd and 7. I'm going to get out of my recording preview here so there's no delay. I want to throw this. Let's go this one. Mesh spot. Mesh spot. 2nd and 7. Got Brown in the slot. Let him just do some run after the catch. Monster. Easy conversion. Let me stay out here. Let's throw it again. Devontae. Play action. Dallas Goedert. Really what I want to look for here. Boom. They don't really bite. No one really follows Dallas Goedert. Didn't have enough depth. 2 picks for Jalen Hurts here today. Gotta wonder, man, if that's Sauce Gardner doing that work. 2nd and goal. Get this one quickly out to Dallas Goedert, which we do. Fakes out. Is that Edwards? But just, you're not going to see an easier touchdown than that. He thought he was going for the slant. He hit him with the shimmy shake. Touchdown, go ahead, score. Philly, what the defense can do here. They go for it on 4th down, get the conversion. They get 2 4th down conversions. Feels like it's just not going to be denied. No. No. The Eagle rejects going to the Jets. Damn. I mean, it was that last drive, man. They got 2 4th down conversions to get that go-ahead score touchdown. They wanted it more. They wanted it more. Is what it is. At least we started this rebuild with a Super Bowl. Hopefully that happens this Sunday. I hope you guys did enjoy this rebuild. Again, like I said, if you want to see a realistic rebuild for the Philadelphia Eagles with those 2 first-round draft picks, that will be a video that I definitely am going to get to. We'll just do that post-Super Bowl, hopefully as champions. But thank you guys for watching today's video. If it's your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. Smash the like button if you enjoyed. Go Birds. I'll see you on the reaction video.